Can you turn that down, Susan? Good evening, folks. It is Wonder Chrissy here, and got my 3-camera setup going for you guys today. I hope you enjoy the experience and give us a little bit of better video here, and make a few adjustments here as we go. Yeah. So yeah, looking pretty good here. It's been a sunless day. It is Monday, November 30th. I believe we are probably headed into December tomorrow. Let me double check. Yeah, tomorrow is December 1st. So today is November 30th, Monday. And we did not have much of a sun at all today. It was pretty bleak and gray out there. Your typical wintry day here in the northern Midwest. So yeah, we are Land Cruiser Midwest. In case you don't know, we are located in suburban Chicago, and yeah, we get some snow here. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of snow. Who would have thunk that you'd get snow in Chicago, right? Right? There's no snow in Chicago. Yeah, famous last words, folks. There is no snow in Chicago. Oh, wow. So yeah, we got the 3-camera setup going today. We got a left camera, got a right camera. Let's bring that one up. The right camera there, and then we have our low quality center channel. There you go. A little bit not as good quality as the other ones, but it's there. So we've got 3 different perspectives for you. And we'll mix it up a little bit and give you guys something to watch, I guess. A little bit different. So we talked about no sun today, and I think we were supposed to be in the high 40s, but I don't think we made it there. I was out and about. It was windy, and it was 30 on my car thermometer. It was 30 degrees the whole day, and I was out about noon to 1 o'clock, and I don't think it made it to 40 today. So it was just overcast all day and gray. I don't know if you've had the chance to experience something like that where you just don't get the sun, but we get quite a bit of that here, usually in December and January, but it's come a little bit early. And also they turned on the snow machine. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about some lake effect snow and how that works around here. And today they are predicting, at least this morning they were, I imagine it probably hasn't changed, they were predicting 8 inches of snow around the south end of Lake Michigan. So that's really, it's mostly Indiana. It's Indiana and New Buffalo area probably, but really the brunt of it is directly south on Lake Michigan. So Lake Michigan kind of makes a big thumb. And there's this area, depending on how the how the wind is blowing, there's 2 scenarios where it can be kind of nasty for those folks around the side of Lake Michigan, or the south side of Lake Michigan. And that includes South Bend, Notre Dame area. That's probably about as far out as it goes, but it's usually LaPorte and in that area. Probably like 50-60 miles along the 80-94 highway there that gets hit hard. And when it gets hit hard is when the snow is coming directly down the lake from the north to the south, which doesn't happen a lot, but it can happen, and that's when they call activating the snow machine, and today that's what's happening, and they're predicting 8 inches of snow for LaPorte, and several miles in off the lake, at least maybe 15 miles, it'll carry in. And what happens is that wind, as it's blowing, picks up the moisture off the lake, because at this point the lake isn't frozen. So the wind is able to pick up that moisture and carry it aloft, and as it hits land, it makes snow. So it's either when it going the wind blowing directly down the lake to the south, or even like a northeast flow. If it's got the right angle, it can cut across the lake and push some snow onto land there, and that's what they call lake effect snow, because the wind kind of picks up some moisture as it goes across the lake and deposit it on the other side once it hits land. So yeah, they can get, depending on the wind blow, but normally our wind's kind of east to west, so it doesn't really happen that bad, or if it does, it's going directly over into Grand Rapids area, Michigan. They probably get a lot of snow as a result of quote-unquote lake effect on a normal east-west wind path. But today we're supposed to get the direct north to south, where the wind's just blowing right down the Lake Michigan for many, many, many miles, and they're gonna get some snow there. So yeah, it's not the winter. You really want to be careful when you're heading over to Michigan, and and you don't want to be traveling, or at least allow for extra time when any type of precipitation or snow is forecasted, because we're not going to get any snow today. No snow for us. Nada. But 2 hours away, right around the Indiana-Illinois border, that's where they're going to get it. So it's localized snow, but they they get whiteouts and stuff over there. They'll be maybe 2-3 times a year they'll close down that highway. It's like a 5-6 lane highway each way, and it'll get so bad there'll be an accident, and there'll be cars backed up for miles and stranded on the highway for hours, if not days, depending on how bad it gets and how easy it is to get the emergency equipment out there. But yeah, you don't want to be going around the lake when there's snowstorm forecast. So just FYI, it's not a safe thing, and I think I would decide to travel another day. So that's a lake effect snow, if you're not familiar with it. And I think they get the same thing over in Buffalo, New York. I think, was it Lake Erie over there? I mean, they get just by normal, the way they're situated, just a east-west wind blowing over the lake sends tons of snow their way too. So it's very similar to that principle, but here it's more heading south, because Lake Michigan is only, on average, Lake Michigan is like 80 miles across, and lengthwise it's probably 350, 400 miles. So you get that wind going north-south. It's got more real estate to pick up some moisture. So, and you can take, during the summer, I think they start up maybe May or April time frame. There's a catamaran ferry that goes across, and there's also a old-time ferry, oh man, probably from the 40s or 50s or even older. There's one that goes out of Milwaukee, and that's the tri-hull catamaran. That's newer, probably like 25 years old. They just put that in operation like the last 25 years. And then further up the coast in Manitowoc, there's, I think it's called the Wisconsin Badger or something like that. And that's the older boat from like the 1930s or 40s. And that's still running. And they take cars across to Ludington, I believe, or Muskegon. So they either one or the other. If it's not Muskegon, it's Ludington, and the one in Milwaukee goes to the other port too. So they're there. We've taken it one time. You pull your car on there, and it's about a 2-hour trip across the lake on the tri-hull. We've done the tri-hull. We haven't done the other one, but I think it was like about, for our car and 2 or 3 people, was like about $100 to get across the lake. It kind of takes all day because I don't think they leave until like 1 o'clock, and by the time you get over there, it's like a 2.5 hour trip, and you lose an hour or two because of the different time zone over there. So they're an hour ahead of us, so it actually turns into a 3 or 4 hour trip or excursion, kind of like the SS Minnow. And but if you're looking for something cool to do on the Great Lakes, it is one of the things you can do. And we are Land Cruiser Midwest, guys. And yeah, it is Monday, the start of the work week, guys. I hope you're back and working hard. Working for a living. Yeah, that's like is that a Huey and a Lewis news song or something? That comes to mind. That definitely comes to mind as I see all you guys out there in rush hour traffic. I don't have to do that anymore, so I'm happy about that. So, yeah, it is Monday. Like, share, subscribe. I don't think we got any new videos coming out this week. Or no, we do. Saturday we have the cheesy potato. Sassy Sue's cheesy potato recipe is going to be out on Saturday morning, so look for that. Excuse me. Her veggie medley and my butterball turkey recipe seem to be lighting up the internet there, so enjoy those. And we've got a couple other videos that were released in the last couple of weeks, and we're working on some more for you guys. So yeah, we're always working hard here at the studios, and kudos to those guys at Bono Boxes Media that help us with our technical stuff. So they're the ones that make it all happen. So kudos to them. Couldn't do it without Bono Boxes Media, folks. They are wonderful. So if you need any technical expertise, get in touch with them and they will help you on your way through the YouTube gauntlet. We couldn't have done it without them. So kudos to them and all the help that they give us. So yeah, can't say enough about Bono Boxes Media Corporation, because they do it all and they do it like it should be done. Okay, so we've been recording here for almost 15 minutes. As long as we got some extra time, let's talk about those Bears. How about them Bears? Oh my gosh, the bad news Bears. It was pitiful last night. We got Mitch. We got Marvelous Mitch back, and it didn't seem to help a hell of a lot. They just got outplayed. It's as simple as that. They got played like you would not believe. And the sad part is the whole nation got to see them just get raked over the coals. I mean, they did not play well at all, and even the announcers were just kind of saying that they were kind of giving up there towards the second half. And actually, the announcers were saying that they were giving up, and they still had a quarter and change to go. So, yeah, I think the game was pretty much over at halftime, if you ask me. But it was pitiful. It was pitiful, and I've seen being a lifelong Bears fan, I've seen several of these types of games, especially against Green Bay. Where you really thought that, in some cases, not this case, but in past years, it was very debilitating, because I really thought in some years in the past we could do well and play with the Green Bay Packers, and especially during the Brett Favre era, where he just ate us up. Even when we had good teams, that it wasn't a contest. They just literally ate us alive. And kudos to the Packers. They look like they could go places with that team. They got the offense, and I guess they have a defense. They didn't really give up much to the Bears, but that's not saying much. But they definitely can play with anybody with the offense that they have. So there you have it. If you got to see it, I'm sure that it was. It matches. My analysis matches. What I just talked about. It was miserable. It was a miserable game. So they've lost 5 in a row now. And I'm not sure who they play next week, but it's turning into a long season here. They should somehow bring a merciful end to this season and go home and lick their wounds, I guess. It's not looking good. Not looking good. And Nick Foles seems like he's injured pretty extensively. He was on the IR, or the not unable to perform list yesterday, so he wasn't even able to play. We had a third string QB as the next guy off the bench, which I don't think their third string quarterback has thrown a pass in a live game ever. So when he does come off the bench to help out Mitch, it's going to be a first. It's going to be a first. So yeah, it's the Bears season is over at this point. Mark my words. So I hate to be a pessimist, but I don't see them turning this around. They just don't have the talent, and I don't know. Their offense is whether it's the quarterback or the offense in general, it's just inadequate. Let me say that their team on the offensive side is inadequate. That's kind of sums it up. So there you have it. The Bears and baseball, we're not hearing much. Some grumblings about Chris Bryant and teams that may want to trade for him. I believe I heard the Washington Nationals were probably interested in him. Nothing's materialized yet, but as we said in past shows, the Cubs have a bench load of prospects and guys that can command some decent trades. There's no shortage of talent on the Chicago Cubs. It's just a matter of getting them to perform to their expectations and work together as a team and bring home some wins and in mass quantities at the right time. So they just haven't been able to do that since the World Series. So time to get rid of some of these guys instead of. If they don't get rid of some of these people, they're just going to be paying, and their payroll is going to be through the roof, and they're not going to be getting the wins that they need at the payroll level that they're paying. I mean, now it's kind of sad. Some of these no-name guys that they brought in the last couple of years were pretty good for the price that they paid for them. They produced and were able to move the bell a little bit on the win side and help the Cubs win, but they were for whatever reason they didn't want to give those guys any type of money for any period of time, and they moved on after their year here, and I think they're niche players wherever else they went, but I don't know. I think the Cubs just have too many stars and not enough not enough limelight or something, because they're just maybe one of them will be hitting and then all the rest of them are in a slump, and it's they're very rarely do they have more than two guys on a streak. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer to the Cubs problem is, but it's obviously more than just getting a new manager, because they got David Ross, the player's manager, as he was presented, and it didn't seem to solve the problem. Their output from the last 2 years has been pretty stagnant, and I think they got rid of hitting coaches, they've got rid of pitching coaches, and I don't know. Neither of those things have solved the problem. So I guess you just start looking at the players and hacking away a little bit and getting some money for some of these players that you've invested in, and wish them the best on a different team. So I think that's where the Cubs are headed for next year. And get ready to go into your pocket deeply for Cubs tickets. I got a feeling prices are going to skyrocket at Wrigley next year. So yeah, they were bleeding money all this year, I guess, and ended up cutting their support staff and scouting department greatly, and they're regrouping. They're regrouping. They got rid of Theo Epstein. Yeah, he's long gone, and number 2 guy is taking over, and hopefully gonna get us where we need to go next year. But there's no guaranteed in this world. It's just another season. So that's the Cubs. The Bulls, they're trying to regroup too. The last 7 or 8 years, the Bulls, the Chicago scene has been one of revamping. Even the Blackhawks, they won their life. I forget when they won their last Stanley Cup, but as of the last 5 years, they just been not able to crack the nut, and they still got the core group, the Tays and Kane, and they had some senior people around for a couple of years, and they should have been able to click them off left and right. They should have been deep into the Stanley Cup playoffs every year, And that's not been the case. They've kept Taines and K's and brought in some, I don't know, not necessarily young people nor older people, but middle of the road people, and it just can't, it's not producing for them the last couple of years. And they even brought back some of the guys they got rid of, after the Stanley Cup. They brought back some of the guys they had to get rid of for whatever reason, and ended up bringing them back, and they're still not the answer. So, just the Bulls are the same way. The Bulls, I'm not sure when the Bulls have been in the playoffs in a meaningful way, outside of the Jordan era. I mean, it's been dry. The Bulls have been very dry years post Michael Jordan. So, and they've spent some money. They brought in some key players, and just hasn't been much. Hasn't been much. To speak of, nothing to speak of. They just, I don't know. They're like the Blackhawks. They just keep changing the wheels, and nothing gets any better. So, oh well. At least the economy. Yeah, let's talk about the economy, folks. The Black Friday sales were down. In-store sales were down 52%. So half of last year's people were showing up, and as a result, sales were only half of last year in the stores. Although online was up 26%, which I expect to see. I expected that to go up like 70 or 80. Our economy is really in a bad place right now. Our government's not telling you the truth. They're not telling you anything. They're refusing to tell you what reality is. And the reality is that our economy has been gut punched and is on its knees, and Congress can't get a stimulus, can't agree on a stimulus package for you guys. It's sad, because there's going to be millions of people that are going to be out of unemployment because what they call maxed out their unemployment here come around the beginning of the year, around Christmas, right around the last week or so of December. So you're going to see a lot of people hurting real bad. And our government, they're slow and meager. And I don't, even if they agreed on a stimulus tomorrow, I don't think the majority of the people in this country would see a check until beginning of March. They move so slow and just at a snail's pace that it's still, folks would fail to get a stimulus check, and they would probably starve before the stimulus check hit their bank. So extending unemployment benefits is probably the quickest and easiest way to get money to people that need it. But the same token, we need to get our economy going so it starts generating those jobs that those people need to actually work for a living, instead of sitting at home on the couch looking for that government handout to show up every week. So that's where we're at. And I'm going to do another podcast about, one piece of the economy here in Chicago, which, they keep telling us they keep telling us on the news every once in a while that Metra, our commuter rail here is called Metra, and they have like 9 different lines from all parts of the suburbia, and they all kind of go downtown to Union Station, or there's actually 2 or 3 stations downtown for trains. So they all end in downtown, and they're used by the people that work downtown. And since the pandemic, the ridership on Metra has been down somewhere between 90 and 97%. So that's almost 100% non-ridership. I mean, that's a huge amount of decrease to experience on something, because nobody's going downtown anymore. So we'll talk about that. We'll walk you through, the economic impact of something like that. And it's real. It's real. There's no one going downtown, and that's translating into fewer and fewer dollars rotating in the economy. So, they may be working from home, but the amount of benefit that's giving our economy is much less now, because, there's only 3 to 7% of the people going on the train that there used to be. So it's almost like these people have their own personal train to take them to work. So, yeah, that's scary. That's scary if you stop and think about it. And we'll walk you through some of the impacts of this, and explain to you how or why you should be scared, on what that means to our economy, because that's just one piece of our economy. There's other pieces similar to that have just been beaten up. Look around. You're going to see coming around here at the end of the year, when businesses are going to make the decision to just close up because they don't want to have to file a tax return next year. They're just going to board up, close up, and be done with it before January 1st, so they can say that they weren't in business in 2021. So simplify their tax issues. So we're getting close to that point, and a lot of these restaurants are pretty much closed as it is now. So it may not be much of a far-fetched thing for them to just roll up the carpets and turn off the spigot for the rest of the eternity. So be looking for that. The first round of closures that we had, and I drove around, and there was minimal impact. Not too many places went under, but after this 3 to 4 week respite that we're going to experience here, I got a feeling it's going to be a little bit different. So we'll talk about that. And I am at the point now where we do the 3, 2, 1 and click and end our show. And at this point, I'd just like to say we are Land Cruiser Midwest, and we would like to thank you for joining us today. So like, share, subscribe, and check out our channel on YouTube, because it is there, and enjoy it. 1, 2, 3, click.